everyone, CJ here with an important message. Rico and I talk about the serious topics of depression and suicide in the first portion of this episode. If you or anyone you know is dealing with major depression or suicidal thoughts, reach out to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. There is always someone to talk to and ways to get help. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Welcome, everybody, to the PodAskew Podcast. I am CJ, and with me is my hetero life mate, Rico.
Yo, everybody, how are you today?
Dude, you're a TV star.
Oh, my fuck. I enjoyed my 15 seconds of fame. For those of you who don't know what the fuck we're talking about, I don't know if I've talked about this plenty of times, but I work at a video rental store. Like, that's right. One of the last, if not the last officially video rental store in the Bay Area.
I think it is according to the article or the interview.
There's one out in Alameda where, which is about 10, 15 minutes away from where I live. But basically, the last one opened for sure, and one of very few in the world. And so there was another one nearby over by Berkeley, and they were closing. And we'd known about them for years, and they'd known about us. And so they were closing, and then I'm at work. Bear in mind, I always look, but especially at this time, I looked like the stereotypical video store clerk. Like, very geeky looking. I was wearing a fucking Captain America shirt.
Yeah, you were.
I was like, Captain America, I'm like average American. What the fuck is this? So I was like, of all the fucking days for me to wear this shirt, this news anchor came in and she's like, hi. And like all of a sudden she's followed by a fucking cameraman. I'm like, and I said, oh, you're here about 5-star. And they're like, yeah, we did a whole segment about 5-star video closing. And then we discovered that you guys exist and we're wondering if we can interview you. And I'm like, but absolutely. This will be fucking interesting. So I had to like close up the store and I still had customers inside. They had to be asked if they want to be on the news and everything like that, be interviewed. So
yeah, but they didn't use any customers that I saw.
What?
They didn't use any customers that I saw.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. If you rewatch the clip again, it shows me ringing up 2 customers.
Oh, yeah.
And talking to one of them and saying like, hey, how's Connie? Because that was the whole point about how I knew every customer's name and I knew all their families. Yeah.
I thought you meant that they interviewed customers because they did not do that, or if they did, they didn't air it. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, they interviewed a couple and didn't air. Like they literally aired 10% of what was recorded, which I thought was kind of like it was awesome to be on TV. And it was awesome a great way to promote a dying business because now we are actually people came into the store. So I saw you guys in the article. I saw you guys on TV. Like, that's crazy. I didn't know you guys were still here. So we got a little bit of business for it. But I'm still really
that's great, dismayed. But you didn't get any business for the show, so thanks for that.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I thought about it, but I didn't want to seem overly desperate and overly tacky and be like, oh, yeah, you guys can watch me on Rico's rants and just you can also listen to my podcast. Like, just it would not have flowed well because if they didn't keep all the other shit that I had said, which was really good and really you need to help a business that you need to come out here. I'm tired of people saying, oh, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to the day when we can go back to video stores. Don't worry about it. Just go do it. I want you to at least be aware of it. So they took all that shit out, but it was still cool to be on TV.
Yeah.
And I went to, I sent that shit to everybody.
Yeah, you did.
Twitter, Facebook. I sent it to I texted it to everybody. My mother called me at 11:30, being like, "Oh my God, I saw you on TV!" And I told my dad, and my dad was like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm like, God damn it, Dad, I was on TV. He's like, yeah, all right, go get a job. I'm like, shut the fuck up, like I was on TV. And so that was interesting. Also, at the same time this was happening, I got an alert, like literally as they were taking a break and about to ask me more questions, I got a tweet that Tony Bennett responded to me on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
So I am just like, because I sent him a video of me crooning a Sinatra song, and I sent to him as a private message, and I said, do you think Frank would appreciate my rendition?
Oh, you told me about this. This was like a month and a half ago, wasn't it? It was like a while ago.
And then he responded.
I didn't realize
right in the middle of the interview.
I didn't realize you sent it as a DM, though. That's ballsy.
I did both.
Oh, okay. I was gonna, that's ballsy to DM him.
It was even more amazing. But I honestly, like, I don't know if it was he who wrote it or if it was one of his handlers, because it kind of came up like a really weird message, which makes me think it really was him.
Did he respond in a DM or on?
In a DM.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you gotta read it now. You can't like tease it.
I'm gonna read it. I'm bringing it up right now. But it was so surreal. So I'm in the middle of the interview, and then all of a sudden I just go, "Holy fuck! Tony Bennett wrote to me," and they're like, "What?"
No wonder they cut you to 15 seconds.
So it said, "Hey Tony, think Mr. S will be proud of my rendition if you go to my head. It says, thanks for your love and support to my music. Guess you won't stop being a fan." And I'm like, that's a weird.
That sounds like a handler. Honestly, it does.
Yeah, but also Tony Bennett's like 95, so it could be him too.
No, that I've done enough and handled enough PR people in my time. That sounds like a PR person, which is still awesome that they responded. But I mean, hey, you know.
Yeah, I would have liked for him, which makes me think that he didn't actually see the video.
Which certainly possible, but hey,
yeah.
You still got something, so that's still something to be excited about. That's a 1-2 punch on positivity last night.
Well, there was another thing that happened, but I won't air that. I'll tell you. It's something other. 3 things happened in that moment. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? What is happening today?
Okay.
I mean, I'll tell you later. Well, there's other things that happen. We do have a topic to talk about, but we do need to pay our condolences to a couple of people that have passed, and we do need to talk briefly about that. And we'll just start it off with Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah,
amazing food critic, amazing chef. He took his own life. I don't even know the circumstances of how he did it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just. I knew a little bit about him, the fact that he had substance issues, and he was very open about his depression and very open about his past, and had a very honest and cynical way of food, but also had a very obviously loved what he did. But I think ultimately his depression won.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing, is for someone who has battled depression. It brought back a lot of memories for me personally. I battled depression, I've battled anxiety, I battled suicidal thoughts. I didn't have like, oh my God, now I need to. It was just like, man, I feel it. I totally understand what he went through and what ultimately took his own life. It's really heartbreaking that.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I'm a little surprised to hear a little bit of what you're saying, only because the way you reacted to me when you found out, it made it sound like you were a bigger fan. Now, I'm not discrediting you or saying anything bad about you, but it made it sound like you were more attached to this guy than I realized. It's shitty no matter what, and it was good. It was something we needed to be like, oh crap, did you see this? But like, we also lost Kate Spade the week before, almost to the day, I think. It was
the day before.
No, it was a week before.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It was a week before, but it was almost to the day. Like, I want to say it was the same day or the Wednesday, because I think Anthony Bourdain did it on a Thursday, and I think she was the Wednesday the week before.
Well, I didn't even know who Kate Spade was. I had to look her up and be like,
yeah. I have a lot of female friends who are into fashion, so I knew enough to know who she was. What I didn't know until after she did this is that her brother-in-law is David Spade from Saturday Night Live.
Well, that's what I thought. I was like, there's not that many Spades, and I was like, is she the wife of David? That was my first reaction.
Well, to be fair, I thought Kate Spade was like not a stage name because she wasn't a performer, but I thought it was like a name she used for like a public name as opposed to what her real name was.
A pseudonym, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't realize it was actually her real last name and that she was married to David Spade's brother.
The point to all this is that there's always help. There's always someone that can listen. There's always someone that will be there, and it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to end. I mean, I have differing opinions of suicide and everything because if it's someone who is ill and frail and is just going to die,
you're talking about option. Like terminally ill type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, choose how you want to go out the way you want to go. But if you're battling something that you can't, that ultimately there is no conquering depression. There's dealing with depression. Is my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's like an addiction. I think it's same thing. Like you never really recover from an addiction, but you battle that every day. And sometimes you're ahead of it, and sometimes it's ahead of you. And I think depression is very much the same thing.
And depression doesn't just mean, oh, I'm sad. Depression, you can be overly ecstatic when things are just really morose, and you don't understand why. I've had depression attack me in different ways where.
Well, there are different levels of depression. Like, I'm no expert, but I mean, my mom has said she thinks I'm clinically depressed, but I've never been diagnosed either, so.
Well,
and my mom's a nurse, to be fair. Like, this is not just some random woman. Like, she.
No, I know that. I think if someone says you're depressed, there's a strong possibility that you're depressed because it's hard to come to terms and even look at yourself in that way. And that's the point is you need other people to pay attention.
Yeah.
And that's the point not to this whole video, to the old podcast episode we're doing, but if you need to talk to someone, find someone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been a string of these over the last year or so, and I mean, they happen all the time, so I'm not saying it's like a new thing, but like Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington, now Kate Spade, Robin Williams, Anthony Bourdain. Robin's been like 5 years though now, hasn't it? It's been a while.
It's been 4 years. It's been 4 years because the week after he did it, I started my job in the video room. Okay,
it's not. I mean, that's not to dismiss it because it's 4 years ago, but in the last year we've lost two musicians, Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain. So it's like Rico said, anyone that's listening to this, hopefully we're bringing you some joy. That's the point of this. I mean, maybe not this exact segment, but the point of this show is to bring joy into people's lives, whether you agree with us, disagree with us, or just like to hear us ramble about shit and argue. But at the end of the day, if you need to talk to somebody, talk. Yeah, Rico's right.
And we'll supply the suicide hotline at the end of this episode. If you do need someone to talk to, if you do need someone to listen, the very least we could do is supply that to help you through it.
Right.
But also in a weird twist of fate, we're talking about suicide. Suicide is actually a real central theme of the topic we're going to talk about. We're going to be talking about Deadpool.
Right, but before you get there, there's one last thing I want to say to your point about reaching out. Look, neither Rico or I are specialists by any means in the sense that we're doctors or anything like that, but I don't want to speak for you, man, but if you need to talk to somebody and you don't feel comfortable calling one of those places and you like our show and you feel like you want to talk to one of us, you can tweet me. I will gladly have a conversation with you if
Absolutely. If you and I wholeheartedly condone that. If you need someone to talk to, you can tweet me. You can DM me. No judgment. No.
Totally not.
No faults. We don't even have to say anything. We just listen.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're not professionals. We're not experts. But if you just want someone to talk to before you start going to that level, feel free to reach out. So.
Yeah. If you need us to be a stepping stone to get to that next point of actually talking to a professional, we'll be more than happy to do that.
All right. Happier, stranger subject, Deadpool 2. Well, Deadpool, though, as a whole. So
As a whole.
But
Hello.
Deadpool 2 just came out, 3 weeks ago, I think, at this point? And
yeah.
You've seen it. I've seen it. So we want to talk about it because that's what we do. As always, spoiler. We're going to talk about everything, and there's a big one in the first 5 to 10 minutes of Deadpool 2 that really pissed me off. I was not happy, and neither was Deb. Deb saw the movie too, told me I could talk about it. Yeah.
Well, let's start with you. But let's start at the beginning. Let's start Deadpool 1.
Okay.
So, did you know about Deadpool, the character, before you saw the movie?
I had a high-level understanding of him. I didn't know specifics. So I'll tell you what I didn't know. I didn't know he was scarred under the mask or deformed or whatever you want to use. Didn't know that. Knew he was a smartass. Knew about the fourth wall breaks. That was a thing he did. I didn't know about his mutant power. To be honest with you, I didn't know he had a mutant power. I just thought he was a guy in a Batman type of thing, guy in a suit. Although I suspected he had a power, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know he had that Wolverine regenerating power. Yeah. Which, by the way, we totally have to talk about the connection to Hugh Jackman at some point. But yeah, because it's just funny. And I haven't seen the Celine Dion thing, so I hope you have, because I hear that's fucking hysterical. I just haven't watched it yet, and I should have, but...
No, I didn't. I mean, I saw what was in the movie, but I didn't see the...
No, apparently Celine Dion did a concert, and one of her songs is in DP2, and he showed up on stage, and
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's a thing. It was one of the many things Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool has done to promote the movie prior to it coming out. That thing he did in Hugh Jackman's bedroom, which I'm sure you saw.
I saw that.
Yeah. So
I also saw he was on some Korean talk show or something, and he was singing "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow."
Oh no, I didn't see that. Oh,
that was the most obscure fucking thing I've ever seen, because it was like Korean or Vietnamese or something, and it looked like American Idol, but Asian Idol. And it was so bizarre. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't even Deadpool. It was someone wearing a mask, a paper bag or something. And, but I immediately knew, because he was "The sun will come out tomorrow." And I'm like, that's fucking Ryan Reynolds. What the fuck is going on? And the whole audience didn't know, and the judges didn't know. And then he took off the mask, and it was fucking Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds.
Was it Reynolds or was it Deadpool in the Deadpool mask?
It was Reynolds. And the audience just fucking went berserk. And even he talked about it on Graham Norton, because he was promoting Deadpool 2 on Graham Norton.
Okay.
And he said it was one of the most surreal experiences of his life. Just I'm on a Korean fucking stage, singing "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow" from Annie, and he's like, "This is what I resort to promote my movie."
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Just to touch on that, first off, and we'll get into it in a little bit, because you were asking me if I knew the history of the character, and I do. But do you know the history of Ryan Reynolds getting involved in the project? Because there's a very specific...
I know a lot about it.
Okay, and I know quite a bit, but I have a feeling there's gaps that you'll be able to fill in. So we'll talk about that with the audience in a second, but. He, in my opinion, from even when I knew about Deadpool prior to the movies, was the perfect choice. There's no one better to play that character. Because I've loved Ryan Reynolds since Van Wilder. That was my first exposure to Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
So
the only person I can see who could, if he bulked up, could do it would be the guy who's been supplying Deadpool's voice forever in cartoons and video games. Okay. And I don't want to fuck up his name, but you probably know it. I think his name is Nolan North.
Oh, I know Nolan North. Yeah. But he doesn't do a lot of on-screen stuff. He does mainly voiceover. Right.
So he is the main voice of Deadpool. prominently. But I mean,
he does a ton of stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he bulked up, he would. He's Nathan Drake from the Uncharted series.
Yeah.
He's Desmond Miles from Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
He's Penguin in Arkham.
Yep.
So he's a great voice actor, and I remember like my first introduction to Deadpool audio wise was in like the Lego Marvel Superheroes video game.
Yes. Yeah.
And
he's really good in that.
First time I'd heard, apart from Ryan Reynolds' little stint in X-Men Origins, that was
which
the
we're
going to
talk about. We have to talk about that. Yeah.
That was the first time I'd heard a Deadpool voice. So I remember thinking like, wow, Ryan Reynolds was perfect. It's a shame they didn't fucking like make a better Deadpool movie. And then we got like an amazing Deadpool movie.
Okay, so you know what? We should pick up the origin right there then. I think that's a good way to go. So my understanding, and it seems like you know more, so let me tell you mine, and if I've got something wrong or there's a gap, you can fill me in. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
So they made that movie, which was X-Men Origins Wolverine, where they just completely, well, not completely, but they butcher the fuck out of the origin of Wolverine, which is hysterical considering it's called X-Men Origins. But they completely changed the origin of the Wolverine character from the comic books. And not completely, but they do a pretty left-hand turn on a lot of it.
They do an origins of this Wolverine. It may not, this Wolverine played by Hugh Jackman is not more or less 100% accurate for the comics. It's pretty accurate.
Yeah, but see, I would say they even cleaned that up in X-Men Apocalypse. They actually kind of cleaned up what they did in Origin, because that's more accurate to the Wolverine backstory. Well, not just in Apocalypse. They kind of set it up starting with, not First Class. I think it's Days of Future Past. They start setting it up there, and they kind of give you the climax that leads into the original X-Men trilogy with a scene in Apocalypse when they're in that bunker.
When he's Weapon X, basically.
Right. Which, by the way, 2 seconds, completely off topic. Happy birthday to Jay Muse.
Happy birthday, Jay Muse. Snooch to the fucking nooch.
Yeah, so glad you're still with us. When we were talking about depression and addiction earlier, his struggles with both of those are well known. So,
absolutely,
very, very happy. I haven't heard of Get Old recently, but I think he's somewhere around like 7.5 to 8 years sober at this point. So,
I think he is. There was a brief relapse. I don't know this for sure, but I remember years ago there was a relapse where he had like a dentist appointment or something. And
yeah, but that was pre Get Old. He's been sober since they've been doing Get Old.
Okay.
Because, not to go off on a thing, but his wife told him, if you fuck up this time, I'm out the door. And
plus, he's got a baby now.
Right, now they've got Logan, so I don't think he really wants to, and I'm really, really happy for him. So, happy birthday, Jay. We're going to get Jay... What?
Do you think he named Logan after Wolverine?
Yes, completely. I know he did.
Oh, that was confirmed?
It's confirmed. He's talked about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Logan totally comes from that. I think he was a little jealous that Kev named his daughter after a comic book character. So,
yeah.
And...
Well, it's better than Shadowcat or something.
Right. Well, I think
Muse.
What I don't know is if it came from him doing the Weapon X thing in Mallrats. I don't know if that ties together.
I think he's just a fan. He's just a fan of the comics.
He's just a fan overall. Yeah. But anyway, so just wanted to say a quick happy birthday to Jay Muse. Really, really glad you're doing so well and you're still with us. All that kind of stuff. Yeah. So they do this origin movie, and it's like this twisted version of Wolverine's history or whatever. He was on a strike team, and I don't think, I forget what it was called, because it was a strike team that he was on. That's from the books, too. That strike team he's on with Will.i.am and
Wolverine?
Yeah, well, he's not technically Wolverine yet. But yeah, well, yeah, that's where he gets the name. Yeah.
Well, he got the name from his girlfriend or whatever.
Well, that's if you go with that other movie. I'm talking strictly from that.
I don't know the comics origin too much of where he got the name Wolverine. But I do know I think it was on his dog tag.
Right, from that strike force that he was on. Well, anyway, the name of the strike force isn't that important, honestly.
I think it was
but he's
Strike
on
Force X.
What's that?
Strike Force X or something?
That might be it, actually. You might be right. So he's on that team, and one of the characters they put into the movie was Deadpool. And they cast...
Well, it was Wade Wilson.
It was Wade Wilson. Yeah, right, that's fair. It was Wade Wilson, and they casted Ryan Reynolds in the role. Now, up to that point, my understanding of it is that he knew nothing about Deadpool. Like, he just wasn't familiar with the character. He didn't... I mean, maybe he knew he existed. Let's not say he didn't know nothing, but he wasn't familiar with origin and how the character really acts and looks and this, that, and the third. They just...
Actually, I know he did.
Okay.
What it was, do you remember we and I both talked about Blade Trinity.
Yeah.
Cock juggling Thundercut.
Oh, yeah. Which is a Deadpool-ish character. It's not,
Very much so. And so when Reynolds was on the set for that, I guess it must have been David S. Goyer, who is a comic book fan and also was directing Blade Trinity. He like, dude, you need to look at this. And I think Reynolds responded immediately to it because one, they're both Canadian.
Okay.
Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds are both Canadian.
Yep.
In the comics, Deadpool is referred to as looking like a combination of Ryan Reynolds and a Sharpay.
Really?
Yes.
But that book came out long before Ryan Reynolds.
But when they did a origin, I mean, after a little bit of established, they finally said, I look like a combination of blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah.
Right. So, okay, fair enough.
And that was the issue, I guess he allegedly, he's like, what the fuck? This is awesome. And I think he did a lot of comic book research and then became overall obsessed with it. Overall, he's like, I have to play this. And if, there's no one else who can play this and I have to do it now. So when they gave him the script for X-Men Origins and he said, they should put Deadpool in it, they cast him, obviously. And to be fair, was X-Men Origins a terrible film? Yes. Did I love it when it came out? Yeah.
No.
Because
no, I didn't.
I was 16 and I was like, not. But I was like, it's not amazing, but it's also not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's campy. And
what killed that for me was the such disconnect from the Wolverine that I know and love. And I'm not, I know the books, I know the comics, the cartoons, the whole bit. And so that's what made that so. There were some good things that came out of that movie. Emma Frost, who got put into
that camp.
What's that?
The camp thing?
No, First Class. She's in First Class.
Yeah, but it was a different actress and it was a different Emma Frost than it was.
Right, but it allowed it to transition. You know what I mean? Just like they did with
a little bit of fan uprising, be like, oh shit, yeah.
And then you did get if I haven't seen it in so long because it was so terrible, but I think you get a brief McAvoy appearance, which then leads into him being Professor X.
No, Patrick Stewart was at the end of it.
Was it him? Okay, I wasn't.
Yeah.
To quote Deadpool, these timelines are so confusing.
Right. But I'll give you some more. I'll give you more praise. I'm a fan of Danny Houston.
Okay.
The guy who played Stryker in that one, he played the young Stryker.
In Origins or First Class?
In Origins.
I don't remember, so yeah.
Do you watch American Horror Story?
No, but I saw some of the hotel one because they've got they each have a different subcategory or whatever.
I didn't watch Hotel, but I'm trying to tell you who Danny.
I'm looking him up, so you can just.
He's the son of John Huston and the brother of Johnson, but he's got this. Oh, he was in 30 Days a Night.
Didn't see that either.
Okay, he was in Clash of the Titans. Played Poseidon, I think.
Oh, okay, I've seen this guy. Not from any of the things you're describing it. I've seen this guy.
But I thought he was really good. He
actually was. Yeah, I remember him. He was good.
But we got to give a big fucking like kudos to Liev Schreiber as fucking Sabretooth.
No.
For me.
I like Liev Schreiber. I love Ray Donovan. That's one of my favorite shows. Love that show.
Yeah, Ray Donovan's amazing.
And I like him as an actor. Like, I do. So I'm not saying anything on him, but I actually liked the...
Tyler Mane?
Is that the one from X-Men?
Yeah, the guy who took over for Rob Zombie's Halloween. He played Michael Myers in Halloween.
Oh, did he really? Okay, I didn't see it. So, but yeah, I like that Sabretooth better. But anyway, my understanding, and you've corrected me a little bit on the Ryan Reynolds, but my understanding of it prior to you doing so was he played the role, had a blast, whatever it was, and then there was a ton of backlash about Deadpool online and whatever, and he was taking a lot of heat. And so he started researching the character and was like, no, we need to make the correct Deadpool character, Deadpool movie, and he championed it.
He may have done that regardless, but it was more the fact that, like, he was not happy with because he was already a fan of Deadpool.
Okay.
Before he was making X-Men Origins. It was around the same time. He's like, he became a fan, and then a year later they had made the movie.
Right.
And he was just like, look, if this is what I have to deal with in order to play this character, then I'm not happy about it, but this is what I'll do.
Right.
And ultimately, I think the best thing about X-Men Origins is that it did give us the best Deadpool. It also gave us a lot of amazing fodder and quips for the new Deadpool to be like, hey, you remember that what happened in like last time? Remember when you tried to sew my fucking mouth shut? Yeah. That was if you took how they disrespected Deadpool out of X-Men Origins, I think it would actually be a better movie. If you didn't have him be the villain at the end and like sew his mouth shut and like gave him fucking laser vision and shit like that, it would actually be okay. It would be an okay X-Men movie.
Yeah.
But there was so much visceral like backlash that now that's what everyone remembers of X-Men Origins. It's like they disrespected Deadpool. But it also gave us a great Deadpool.
Oh, and lots of good jokes within both of them. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So then we fast forward, and finally they make Deadpool 1.
Which was, 2014?
Sounds about right. Well, yeah, because they... And this goes along with the jokes that come with Deadpool. So it came out on Blu-ray 2 years ago. So that's 2016, because it's 18 now, so...
Yeah, it was probably 2016. So it was Valentine's Day, I remember when it came out.
It was, yeah. But wait, hear me out, because this is the funny part, because I know you work in the video store, but I don't know if you had this, because I think it might have been a Best Buy thing, but they put out the 2-year anniversary edition of Deadpool. Like, you know how there's usually like a 10-year or a 20-year or whatever? They did the 2-year anniversary edition of Deadpool and put it out as a special edition with its own steelbook and the whole bit. No, I didn't buy it because I already have it, but it cracked me up just to see it out there in the store. Is like only Deadpool.
Well, I also saw I didn't see it at the actual store, but I saw pictures where they'd taken like a whole wall of Deadpool and they had made new slip covers over the Blu-rays and DVDs, where he is on the cover of regular films. And spoofing him. So like it shows like the usual suspects, and then just shows like all the guys on the line, and then Deadpool like in the background eating a chimichanga.
Yeah, it sounds right. Yeah.
And they do that. They did it for like all these random movies, like Godfather, and like shows him like holding a fucking gun, like petting it like a cat. Like it was the most meta Deadpool fucking thing I've ever seen. You're not buying Deadpool. You're buying The Godfather that just has a weird cover.
Wait, so I misunderstood. These aren't copies of Deadpool. These are copies of, like, The Godfather that are actually The Godfather. Oh, shit. That's even better.
So people are like, oh my God, Deadpool. And then like, wait, that's not Deadpool. That's fucking, like,
Godfather
Driving Miss Daisy.
Or what? Oh, yeah. I could see him sitting in the Morgan Freeman spot. That'd be great.
It was like Cable in the back seat. Like.
Oh, that's great. And see... And maybe you know this, but I'm willing to bet any amount of money that means anything that most of these are Ryan Reynolds' ideas, or at least he has serious input on them. Like, he really enjoys the sarcasm and the wit of this character and getting to do it.
Oh, he is so much in love with the character that, like, when he was done filming, he walked off the set with the suit and like, hey, Ryan, what are you doing? He's like, you will never get the suit away from me.
The first one,
he's like,
you mean?
The first one, he's like, I've worked so goddamn hard to make sure this happened. And, like, he's always true to the character. Like, I saw a segment of what's Halloween, and when Deadpool for 1 was coming out, it may have been on, like, Jimmy Fallon or something like that. But he goes up to a bunch of kids that are trick-or-treating, and he's wearing the Deadpool suit, and he's just like, hi, kids, what the fuck are you doing? and they're just like, who are you? He's like, I'm Deadpool. I'm a friend of Wolverine. And then he sees, like, a little kid dressed up as, like, Wolverine, like, Logan-era Wolverine, like the tank top and the, the muscles. Not classical yellow spandex Wolverine.
Right.
And he's like, Wolvie, give me some skin. He's like, oh, not too much. Like, and then he, like, puts him on the swings. He's like, all right, everybody, remember we rehearsed? Everyone say, fuck you, Wolverine. And they all say, like, fuck you, Wolverine.
That's
like,
so
it was
funny.
I mean, when he was doing, like, trailers for Deadpool, he was, like, doing little snippets being like, hi, everyone, this is Deadpool. Please don't come looking for Tony Stark and Hulk. There's a lot of dirty language. So tell your mom he's a whore and a fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, there was a whole, like, petition was mom wanted to have, like, a PG-13 version of Deadpool so she could take her son.
That's
and
so
Deadpool,
funny.
like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, or just Ryan Reynolds tweet, he's like, fuck you, kid. Your mom, you can't come to movies. A lot of bad language. Also, your mom's a whore. Like, not even, like...
Yeah.
Like, Fox must be, like, scratching their heads, like, is this good for us or bad for us?
Well, from the revenue sales on the first one, it's good.
Well, this was for the first one.
What I'm saying. But at the time, probably. But after they saw the revenues on the first couple weeks, we're good. Because it was, what, $40 million, I think, that they spent on it?
Oh, it had a really low budget. Yeah, it was like 20 to 40 million. And at one point, I think it got cut. They had a bigger budget, and then the budget dropped.
Yeah, which actually, okay, so and we'll get into that because that's important to my review of the second one, but still. Okay. Yeah, so I don't want to go shot by shot in the first one, but we should talk about a few things. I liked all the jokes to the things we've just been talking about, like, because there's a lot of, like, jumping around from scene to scene and flashbacks and flash forwards and things like that. And at one point, it comes back from one of those, and you hear Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson before he's actually Deadpool saying, one of my favorite things in the world, and it's zooming in on a toy of that shitty Deadpool that they did in Origins, and he throws that away and picks up the Wham record, which, is great. I mean, it's those are things, but he's saying stuff like that. It's like that. And, I'm a huge music guy. We've not really talked about that too much on here, but music is like, I know you like music too, but you kind of hover around in one genre a little more than I do.
Yeah, more or less.
Whereas I'm all over the place. And the music they got for these two movies, for both Deadpools, I mean, it rivals what you got in the Guardians movies in terms of quality,
I could agree with that. I would probably say that I probably like tap my feet a whole lot more to Guardians than I did for Deadpool.
Well, yeah, the Guardians ones were more, foot tapping type of style, but the fact that they got somebody, I mean, like Shoot by Salt and Pepper, Careless Whisper by Wham. Just as a couple of examples, they get those are not, it's not, Immigrant Song for Thor Ragnarok where you're probably paying like, through the nose, but you're certainly not, throwing a couple shekels at them either. It's a decent amount of money that you're paying for these songs.
Or the fact that it opens up with, like, what is it called? Call Me Angel in the Morning or something?
I think the song's just called Angel, but that's the lyrics for it, yeah.
Yeah. And that's how it opens up, is like him getting this fucking fight. And that was a recreation of the test footage. You know about that? No,
I don't, so go for it.
So the reason why we have a Deadpool movie is because someone made a CGI.
I did hear that was done, but I don't know what the footage was.
it was just test footage. It was basically just a little Pixar type thing, but it looked so spot on of the character, and Ryan Reynolds voiced it, and it was just that opening scene of him dropping in the car and shooting them and punching them and like putting the fucking thing in the lighter in the guy's mouth and talking to the camera like it's stopping and being like, shit, did I leave the stove on? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. So let me.
Oh, someone leaked it out.
Okay, right. I heard that. I never saw it, but I heard that. Yeah.
It was either down to Tim Miller, the original director of the first Deadpool, or Ryan Reynolds, and both have said, I didn't do it, but I'm grateful it was out there.
Right, because that's what got the movie made.
Yeah, it was overwhelmingly like strong positive feedback where all the fans were frothing at the mouth being like, you have got to make this. Stop making fucking shitty X-Men movies. Stop trying to do fucking Fantastic Four again. Fucking make Deadpool.
Right.
And for once, the studio actually listened. Like it was a rare situation where the fans uprise and the studio listened.
And they made money hand over fist because I think they made like a couple $100 million in 2 weeks.
Which they desperately needed because Apocalypse was not doing well and they had suffered so much from Fantastic Four.
By the way, I live in, as we've talked about, the Philadelphia area. And
oh, you're going to talk about Comcast right now?
Yeah. Fucking Comcast is trying to stop the Fox Disney thing. They've outbid Disney by like $6 billion or $6 million.
$6 million?
No, maybe it's billion. I don't know. But either way, it's they've.
If that's chump change, they can get $6 million in an hour at Disneyland.
Right, but they came over the top by a shit ton. Is really the point, and it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's delaying things, and we may not get the merge between Fox and Marvel now.
I mean, I've talked about this with Stephanie a couple times. Like, should we get a merge?
Well, you're asking me, right? Or was that rhetorical?
I'm asking you because that includes Deadpool. Should Deadpool be part of the MCU?
If they treat... Well, before you get to Deadpool, I want to answer your overall question first, because there's two parts to that, right?
Right.
So, when Disney bought Marvel Studios however long ago, and we talked about this on the MCU episode a little bit, so I'm not going to look up the time frame again, but when they did that, I was really afraid they were going to start Disneyfying these Marvel movies. Because, well, Iron Man 1 isn't like an R-rated Deadpool. It's still pretty gritty. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
Oh, yeah.
It's in your face. It's gritty. It's as realistic as a comic book movie can be, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Incredible Hulk, which we talked about in the MCU, is dark as well. I mean... Yeah,
absolutely. So, but
they're all dark with a lot of fun, though.
Right, but the point is they're not making kids' movies. They were making adult movies. You could probably take kids, too, not Deadpool, but these other ones. You could do that.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas I was afraid they were going to make it like more like The Incredibles, which is a great movie, but not a Marvel movie, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
It is the best Fantastic Four we've ever gotten, though.
Yep, and the second one comes out soon, so anyway.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, so there was that, and I was afraid, and they didn't do it. Disney, besides giving them the money, stayed hands off and let Marvel do their thing. They let Kevin Feige do his thing, and we kept getting these great Marvel movies leading all the way up to Infinity War, which we've already talked ad nauseum about. So,
yep.
You know, so they stayed hands off. If they were going to do that with the Fox properties they picked up, meaning Fantastic Four, Deadpool, and all that, then yeah, I don't have a problem with it. You know, but if they got involved...
But in terms of characters, do you think it would work? Because Steph made a really good point. She's like, the X-Men especially would not work right now because you're telling me that Tony Stark and S.H.I.E.L.D. were just not aware of mutants this whole time. They were not aware of Professor X. They were not aware of Wolverine. She just felt like smushing the X-Men into the Avengers or making like a X-Men Origins type scenario for Marvel or for Disney would just seem real kind of lazy writing and just sort of forcing it on us.
Well,
and I can see her point.
No, I can see the point too, but I can also give you an out, right?
Okay.
Because I'm trying not to read a lot about Marvel stuff coming up down the road because I'm afraid it's going to inadvertently spoil Infinity War, the next one.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to read too much, but I am seeing things like they're definitively having a new leader for Phase 4. And what I mean by leader is, like, if Tony's been the leader up to this point, there's going to be a new leader going forward. Now, what that means... Not leader of the team, but just like...
Well, it'll probably be Captain Marvel.
Well, right, but I'm saying, but Tony's been the cornerstone. That's my point. So now there'll be this new cornerstone they're going to build off going forward. And it could be Captain Marvel. I'm not arguing against that. That's not my point. But if you're going into this new phase, that's an opportunity to start bringing in the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and doing it in that phase. And to your point of, well, they didn't know about it. Well, maybe there was these S.H.I.E.L.D. classified files that nobody knew about and they get uncovered. You know, you could do something like that. You know what I mean?
What I think will most likely happen, if safe for the sake of argument, Disney does get X-Men and Deadpool and Fantastic Four, I think Fantastic Four would be the easiest thing to do.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
they can do the origin story for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
But for X-Men, the whole mutant race, that'd be trickier. But if they're doing, like, this is just a theory. I don't know shit. I don't know if it's going to be part of Avengers 4. But if they do multi-dimensions and multi-worlds.
Multiverse, yeah.
Multiverse type of thing. Then they could say, okay, this is just an alternate timeline. And especially if you have, like, the Infinity Stones and shit like that, you can bridge that gap. Also, we know enough to know there's going to be a time jump.
Yeah.
Like you know, they're going to fuck around with time. And so...
The other thing that they can do, though, I mean, the Inhumans are already part of the current universe, even if it's just the TV universe. The Inhumans are a thing. So,
yeah,
you could say that it's like they discovered that there's these mutants that are like not a spin-off, that's a really bad word to use, but...
Yeah,
like,
they call them enhanced in, like, Age of Ultron.
But then, you're talking... Well, yeah, but you're just talking about Scarlet Witch and the Quicksilver that was in there, but that's but they're talking about okay, so you can have enhanced humans, but you also still have the Inhumans. Like you've watched S.H.I.E.L.D., the show, or no?
I've seen the 2 seasons of it. I have not progressed.
Okay, well, you know, so you're not at the Inhuman stage. And by the way, I do recommend the last 2 seasons that have been on.
I've been hearing good things about it. I just haven't progressed into
it. It lulls out in the middle a little bit, but it's really picked back up. And the Ghost Rider part was really good. They did a really good job.
I heard a lot of good shit about that.
Yeah, the Ghost Rider was good. The story around it was bad, but that's not his fault. But what they did with the character itself was really good. Anyway, there's ways to branch off. I think it can be done. I agree with Steph that shoving it into the next Infinity War movie, as much as I would love to see a gigantic splash page style thing of all the Avengers, the Guardians, Black Panther, and then the entire X-Men universe running towards Thanos. As much as I would love to see that, I agree with Steph. Trying to shove it into that movie is a bad idea. But you could do it going forward in Phase 4, 5, and whatever. So, yeah, I think you could do it. Deadpool, as an individual character, that's harder. You certainly can't put him in the MCU, in my opinion, unless you do your idea where you have the 2 movies where one's beeped out and one's not. I don't think they'll do that, to be fair. But if they did, then that's the only way you get him in. Otherwise, you still got to kind of let him do his own thing. But to that point, since we're going to jump around here and not go, shot for shot in either of these movies, like, there's been an ongoing joke in both Deadpools about how there's only one X-Man, and that's Colossus, and then also and Negasonic, but of the X-Men, quote unquote, Colossus is really the only one that's there. And
because Deadpool only works if it's a Deadpool movie,
right?
Having the X-Men characters come in. If it's an X-Men movie, Deadpool showing up just doesn't work as well unless they just do that with like a whole PG-13 version, and then the R-rated version includes Deadpool.
Or there's just like a brief cameo, and he keeps himself clean for that cameo. Like if he's not in the whole movie, but if he shows up for like a scene or something and then goes away, and you either bleep his stuff or he just keeps himself clean for that 15 minutes or whatever it is, that's not going to be that bad. I could stomach.
He's commenting about the bleeps.
What's that?
And he's commenting about the bleeps, like, "What the beep? What the hell is that? Why are you beeping?" Like,
right? Which I don't think
I only get one F-bomb.
Right, but if they get one, then you give it to him. But here's the thing:
then you get to Wolverine.
Well, fair enough. That's true too. But either way, well, he got it in that it was First Class, I think, and they were going around recruiting people, and they show up to him at the bar, and they start to try to talk to him to recruit him. He goes, "Fuck off," and they leave.
Yeah, and there are some F-bombs, and 90% of them has been by Wolverine, but with one exception by McAvoy in Days of Future Past. He's alluding to the first time. He's like, "I seem to remember you. We tried to recruit you 15 years ago, and I'm going to tell you what you told me, which is fuck off." Well, actually, he changed the line. What the original line was "fuck off," but Hugh Jackman got so tired of saying "fuck off," he just said "go fuck yourself," and that was the line in First Class. So when McAvoy did it, he fucked up. He said "fuck off" when it should have been "go fuck yourself." So McAvoy, it was. He just forgot.
Yeah, it's not a big thing, but I get your point. But anyway, so I don't think you can do Deadpool in the X-Men world. But what they did do in DP2 that I don't think a lot of people caught, because my theater when I went to see it only had like a handful of people in it. It was me, Deb, and like 6 other people when we went to see it. So, but he's in the. Well, he's in the mansion because he goes to see Colossus, and he steals Professor X's wheelchair and he's just driving around knocking shit over, which is great. I'm rolling when this is going on. And
so is he.
Yeah, and but he makes a comment. Like it's been ongoing about how there's no other X-Men in the house, and the joke previously is because the studio couldn't afford any more X-Men and things like that, which for a $40 budget is probably true, but
right.
He turns a corner and the camera kind of pans past them, and you can see into this one room, and it's all of them just standing there for like 5 seconds, if that. And they slide the door shut, and that's it. But you got McAvoy and all of them. Just like I think it was them, unless they were stunt doubles.
It was them. I looked it up. It was McAvoy. I think it was Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay.
It was.
Was it on IMDb? Because I'll confirm it while you're going through it. Oh, look, you talk, but I'm just.
I think it was. McAvoy was definitely there. The guy who played Quicksilver, who's also on American. On American Horror Story, that actor from the X-Men one, he's in there. The guy who played Cyclops in Apocalypse is there.
Okay.
And the guy who played Beast. But
he was there.
I don't think he was in his. I don't think he was in his Beast form.
He was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then I want to say Angel. I
didn't see Angel, but it's so quick. It was easy to miss it. I didn't see Cyclops. I'm not saying he wasn't there. I didn't see him because it was so quick.
I think he was in the background. I'm like, holy shit, they got everybody.
I'm looking right now.
There's probably a photo of it online, actually.
There might be. Oh, yeah, he's there. There we go. Nicholas Hoult, uncredited, so he's not credited.
None of them were credited.
McAvoy is as Xavier. Evan Peters is Quicksilver. Ty Sheridan is Cyclops, who I'm assuming was him because it looks like him. Storm was there apparently. Nightcrawler was there apparently. That's it.
Okay.
That's the only ones listed. So I don't think Angel. You probably saw Nightcrawler.
I think it was just. I'm looking up. I saw it says 4 major X-Men appear, but it doesn't show a picture of it.
But they are listed on IMDb as uncredited. So I think that.
I don't think Jennifer Lawrence was in it either. So
no, but that's okay. It's still enough of a heavy hitter list that it made it a good joke. Do you know what I mean? I got enough of the main characters that made it a great joke. And he never sees it.
The point is that they quickly close the door, like, we don't want to deal with your shit.
Yeah, basically. It was great. And then he's wearing a
oh my God, Deadpool's
jersey.
Here.
What's that?
You're like, oh my God, Deadpool's here.
Yeah, shit, close the door. But that was good. So, and little jokes like that throughout both movies. Those are the things that made it so good, you know, and
So tell me what you were pissed off about from the very beginning. That's how you started this whole
thing. How
the
fuck do you kill Vanessa in the first 5 fucking minutes? Or 10, whatever it was.
You know, it's so weird because you're a fan of movie fights, and I'm a fan of movie fights, and we're both fans of Kevin Smith. There was an episode where Kevin was doing a movie fight and he pitched a new Deadpool.
Okay.
And
is that the one he does
enough,
at Comic-Con versus Elijah Wood? Is it that one?
No, I think it was in the room. I think it was I think it was the actual studio they do. But it was really I'm trying to remember it perfectly, but it's really kind of close to it. But so Vanessa dies. Spoiler, Vanessa dies in Deadpool 2, but also she dies in Kevin Smith's proposed sequel.
Okay.
And she goes to hell. And Deadpool has to go into hell
and get her
to get her back.
Ah.
Here's my pitch. Deadpool goes to hell. I'm stealing it right from Alan Moore's Swamp Thing run when Swamp Thing went to hell to save Abby Arcane. Vanessa, you know, whatever the bad guy is, I don't care if it's Cable or not. Cable, by the way, should be played by Idris Elba. Somebody, don't go to me. That was genius. So he goes, so the villain kills Vanessa, and Deadpool has to go to hell to save her soul, so he has to die, but as we know, he can't die and stuff. So he's got a ticking clock. If I come back in a certain amount of time with her soul, I'll be alive, she'll be alive and stuff. It's a comic book. You take liberty. And you could also bring him to heaven and stuff, because why not? You know, let him fuck around with God a little bit. Not literally, but like say some things. Ryan Reynolds mouthing off to God, that's what I think about when I close my eyes and masturbate. So put that in a movie, and you got all my money. Take it all.
And I'm like, when I'm watching this, I'm like, oh my God, did they fucking borrow Kevin's like proposed script? That's pretty
kind of, except I think she's in heaven and not hell, but yeah.
She's in purgatory.
Purgatory, fair enough. The one thing that I like, so a guy I know who loves music as much as I do, pointed something out to me that you may not have noticed because you're just not into some of the stuff that we're into like that.
Right.
But so he sees Vanessa dead a few times. He goes in like this dream state, or he dies. I guess he actually dies because he blew himself the fuck up. Which that's something else we have to talk about because I have one little minor complaint about that too. But anyway, he sees Vanessa a few times, and on the one time where he thinks he's gonna get to stay with her, when he can get through that invisible barrier that was there. They did shot for shot the Take On Me music video from A-ha.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's shot for shot, but it's if it's not, it's like an homage. It's really close to because have you seen it, the pencil?
No, I know the song, but I never saw the music video.
When you get the chance, I guarantee you it's on YouTube. So go look it up, and it's the singer of the band drawn on like a wall in pencil, and there's a woman like walking around seeing this like cartoon character walking around the walls, and at one point he puts his hand out from the wall and pulls her into the sketch, and then they start walking around both as cartoon characters. So it's very similar about her, how she puts her hand through and grabs him that one time.
And the song is featured in Deadpool 2. I only saw Deadpool 2 once, and it was when it came out.
Yeah, I think that song... Well, no, it may not be that song. I have to see it again, too, so I'm with you on that. I don't remember, but regardless, it's the same errors. If it's not that song, it's a song from that era, so it still fits. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's still almost shot for shot of that video. It's pretty funny. But how the fuck do you kill Vanessa? Like, okay, great. Kevin had a great idea if he wants, but He worked so hard all of Deadpool 1 to get her back. And you get 5 minutes of Vanessa.
But I think that was what was important, because Deadpool, like that whole first origin story movie, all about saving her and all about like, will she accept me for how ugly I am and blah, blah, blah. Will she move on and have a family with me, blah, blah, blah. Deadpool, yes, he is acerbic, he is witty, he is off-kilt, but he also deals a lot of demons, and he's also very sensitive. Like,
Yeah.
In the comics, in the comics and in the movie, he's pansexual. And which is to say, I mean, that doesn't really matter, but I'm saying there's more to him than just he's an ugly dude with a red mask. He's also sensitive enough to, in the comics, Hawkeye is deaf.
Okay.
And Deadpool is the only, knows enough and respects and sympathizes enough that he's deaf to take off his mask so his lips are visible, so that Hawkeye can read his lips.
Okay. He makes a Hawkeye joke in this movie. I don't remember what it was, but he does make a Hawkeye joke in DP2.
I don't remember the whole, there's a lot of jokes. Like I said, I only saw it the one time, but I was laughing the entire, Stephanie was fucking doubled over.
That really surprised me. I mean, obviously you know her way better than I do, but from the time I've gotten to know Steph, and I'm not saying she doesn't have a sense of humor, because she absolutely has a sense of humor, but...
Oh yeah, she dates me, she has to have a sense of humor.
Exactly. But at the same time, like, for all the movies that I've talked to her about...
She's very critical of the ones we love.
For her to love this movie...
Yeah,
that's what stunned me. But hey, if she loved it, great. That's an awesome thing. But
I think the main reason why is because she knew going into it that Deadpool is supposed to be all over the place. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be like you're just going to go into it having a good time. Whereas Avengers and Black Panther and stuff like that is taken very seriously. They take, not to say Deadpool is not taken seriously for the character itself. They're pretty fucking spot on.
Right. But your point is that the subject matter is more serious than in a Deadpool movie. That's the difference.
Like, I showed her Logan, and she
hated
was like,
it, I bet.
No, she didn't hate it, but she's just like, I think it was a great way of ending the character.
Yeah.
And I thought it was better than I expected it to be. But like, when we saw Deadpool 2, it was me, Stephanie, my friend Michael, and another friend and a coworker of Michael's, and we all went and saw it. And Stephanie, when she does this, and I love her for it, because it fuels my ego and it fuels my humor. If she finds something really funny, she will repeat it.
Yeah, you said this on a previous episode. You talked about that when you were telling about her reaction to the movie.
And it kind of like bugged my friend, because like, she's on my right, he's on my left, and she's laughing. We're all laughing, but she's saying the punchline again.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the movie, Michael looks at me and was like, "Your fucking girlfriend, who he loves Stephanie."
Yeah, you've said that. Yeah.
He was like giving me shit, and I was giving him. She's like, "Yeah, well, your girlfriend talked the whole fucking movie." And then I told her about it, and she was like, "Well, she felt bad." And I'm like, "Look, first off, Michael's being an asshole, but he said it because he was trying to dig at me.
Right.
It was not about you." But like, we all kind of do that. Like, if something is so funny, we're just like, "Oh my god!" And then you say the punchline again. That was so funny. But she just did that for like an hour and a half.
Well, the thing that was strange about our movie, like I said, there wasn't a lot of people in the theater. Dev and I were the only ones audibly laughing through the whole thing. Like, we were the only ones really laughing. And there was one woman and her son, and he was not like we're not talking like a kid. We're talking about a guy at the youngest, he was 17. You know what I mean? So, like, he was not a kid. As soon as the credits rolled, they were up and gone, and she was, like, pulling him out of there. Like, she did not seem happy at all.
Was it late?
No, it was 10:30 in the morning. Well, it was probably noon by the time the movie was over, because it started at 10:30, but yeah.
Well, they may have had to go somewhere. I mean...
No, well, I mean, maybe, but she definitely had because I could see her face. They had started putting the lights back on while the credits were running, so I could see her. And she just looked like, I just paid to watch this piece of shit. Like, that was kind of the look on her face.
he probably did a whole lot of convincing, be like, "Mom, I love the first one. Let's go see the second movie." And then she's like, "Never saw the first one."
Right.
But I also imagine that she probably would have been like, first 30 seconds of the movie, like, "This is not appropriate. I am not happy. We're leaving now."
Right. She didn't do that. She sat through the whole movie. But which, by the way,
she was like, "Oh shit, we paid $8 for it."
At some point, we have to talk about 1 versus 2 because I do have a major problem with 2 versus 1.
Well, before we do that, we have to talk about Cable.
No, we're. I'm not saying right now, but we just got to make sure we don't forget to do that because I do need. Okay. I have a complaint I need to voice. Yes. So, Cable.
Well, actually, no. Let me finish my point because.
Please. I didn't mean.
No, it's fine. You're still about the whole Vanessa thing. What else could she have done? She could have been captured again, and he has to save her again, and that would have gotten stale.
Or she could have just been there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, not necessarily in every scene or anything like that, but they could have just had her still at the not the hotel, but the apartment while he's off doing his adventure. Like, they didn't have to kill her. That was my problem.
I think what they did was they looked at the previous other movies of like Spider-Man or Spider-Man is a big one, but like where there's a hero who's got a girlfriend and the movies usually say, it's not going to work out because I've got villains and I don't want to put you in danger. I have to break up with you, a la Spider-Man. Or we just remain friends. Or it's a Pepper Potts, Tony Stark relationship where they keep trying to make it work and it doesn't happen. Then they go back to it and then it doesn't work and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I think they sort of did a Dark Knight, which was make the villain, make the hero have to be a hero, not just for personal reasons. He has to save everybody, and he has to be the hero that he should be. And a lot of that is a big, big, big sacrifice. So he's not doing it to save his girlfriend, which is what the whole first fucking movie is about.
Yeah.
It's all about him joining a team, and he lost out the family that he wanted, but he gets a family
in X-Force. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which, by the way, I just talking about that time right around time she dies. Look, I know he's got the regenerative capabilities, like he can regenerate limbs and whatnot, because the part with the legs later is fucking hysterical. That was one of the funniest parts of the movie. But, I don't know. I think if you blow yourself to like 10 pieces and spread yourself throughout I don't know. That's the only place where it kind of lost me a little bit.
No, he can literally, like, we talked about this in another episode with Deadpool and Thanos.
No, I don't think, well, I don't know what you're going to say, but I don't.
Well, Thanos and Deadpool have their own comic together. And there's a part where Thanos literally turns him into goo. Like, destroys him so much that he is just a puddle of just nothing.
Okay.
And he's able to form back through that.
To Deadpool. Okay, well then, you know what? Then maybe it's just a product of me not being as familiar with the character, and being more familiar with like a Wolverine type of regeneration.
Where it's just slow. Well, even Wolverine, like, was eaten, like in the comic Old Man Logan, where Logan is inspired by.
Well, I didn't see that one, but.
Well, he gets eaten by the Hulk.
That's interesting. Like, I can't see the Hulk doing that, but...
Dude, Old Man Logan is so fucking nuts on the comic book. Like, it's post-apocalyptic, so Hulk is like a hillbilly out in, like, the desert. He's got, like, a big beard and shit. He's like a monster. He's not just Hulk. He's a monster. He's a fucking monster, and he literally eats, like, Wolverine. Like, bites into him, eats him, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, inside... he, like, forms back together and then, like, rips through his back and kills the Hulk.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, then, look, I consider myself versed in the characters, but not... I will certainly say there's things I don't know, and things like that are one of them. So,
Well, do you know the origin of Deadpool? Not like his origin, but, like, do you know where how he was created, like, in the comics?
I think I've heard it once, but I don't remember it, so I'm going to say no.
He was a spoof of Deathstroke.
Well, right, and so, not to cut you off, but did you get the Teen Titans movie trailer with yours when you saw Deadpool?
I don't remember. I don't think we did.
Okay, so they're making a Teen Titans cartoon movie called Teen Titans Let's Go to the Movies. And that's
it's Teen Titans Go to the movies. The show's called Teen Titans Go.
Right, but they're changing. I think they added "Let's" to the movie title. But anyway, okay. I know. Yeah, I might be wrong, but that's not the point. The point is they're making this movie, and in the trailer they showed the premise of the movie that I understood it is that Robin wants to have his own movie, and because he's only a sidekick to Batman, no one wants to make the movie. So the whole concept of the thing is for them to convince the studios that Robin's worth making a movie about. Okay. And at one point they're saying, well, we need a villain. We need a villain we can fight to show that we're worthy of this. And Deathstroke shows up. And I forget which character says it. I want to say it's Robin, but it might have been Beast Boy or Cyborg. And he goes, oh, look, Deadpool. And Deathstroke goes, why does everyone think I'm Deadpool? And so I don't know if that's a trailer made to sit in front of Deadpool or if that's an ongoing joke in their thing, but I don't know. But they do reference that on that trailer, so it's funny that you tell me that.
Well, do you know what Deathstroke's name is, his real name?
Yeah, it's something, is it Wade Wilson? It's Wilson,
it's
I know.
It's Slade Wilson.
Slade Wilson, that's it. Yeah.
So because
he's on Arrow. Okay, well, he's on Arrow.
Yeah, he's on Arrow. Yeah, he's on Arrow, and he's also at the end of Justice League? No, Batman vs. Superman.
No, Justice League. You're right.
Justice League. So, and he's played by Joe Manganiello, who was also in the original Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Right, he was Flash Thompson.
Right. So, Rob Liefeld, I don't know. The more or less the creator of Deadpool, was just like, I guess he's like, well, let's take Deathstroke. Deathstroke is an awesome character. I mean, pound for pound, he's one of the very few who can go up against Batman and go toe-to-toe with him. And
one of the best villain fights in any of the Batman games. If you've played Batman in that Origins game, that fight is much fun.
And not to mention an underused villain. So, like, when the whole thing of, like, Joe Manganiello coming out playing Deathstroke, like, there's a whole lot of Batman news right now that just came out, like, yesterday and today. Like,
oh, really? I didn't hear that. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it off the episode because it's not really. Yeah.
But, like, for a long time, it's like, oh, shit, dude. Like, Batfleck versus Deathstroke, that's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's a new villain we haven't seen. It's someone like Bane who can actually challenge Batman.
Yep.
So to take that and then to put, like, you know, breaking the fourth wall and give him, like, an acerbic wit as well as just an off-kill personality and just call him Deadpool instead of Deathstroke. And giving him the obvious, like just as much as Thanos is a more or less a ripoff of Darkseid, you know, Deadpool is a ripoff of Deathstroke. But he now is his own character. You can, you know, pound for pound, I still think Thanos is more intimidating than Darkseid as well.
I agree.
As well as Deadpool is more popular. I mean, Arrow helped a lot for Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, they're just very different sides of...
Deadpool's more... here's a good way to put it. Deadpool's more entertaining than Deathstroke.
Yeah. I would say, like, imagine that they're cousins. Like, that's how I'm looking. Like, you have Deadpool's the black sheep cousin of the Wilson family.
Yeah.
And then you get, like... And then you could put in, like, fucking, like, their grandfather's Wilson the volleyball from Castaway. And then you get, like... There's a lot of Wilsons, man. Like fucking Wilson from Falcon.
Yeah.
And there's Wilson Fisk.
Yeah. As long as they don't do Michael Clark Duncan, stick with Anthony D'Onofrio. Stick with him.
Michael Clark Duncan's dead.
Well, no, I know that, but I didn't like his portrayal of the character.
Did you like any? I mean, what his portrayal was fine.
Well, yeah, I didn't like what they did with the character, meaning the movie, and maybe not him. You're right. That's not fair.
Yeah, it's not his fault. I mean, I thought I didn't care that it was him, and I was like, what are they going to get for a big white guy to not just look fat? I mean, they needed someone.
Vincent D'Onofrio did a great job.
but he wasn't that huge that time. He
could have if they casted it his ass. He did that for that role. He wasn't that big.
No,
I mean, he's always he's always had weight shifts. I know that, but I read an article where they interviewed him, and he put that weight on for that role because he knew how big he's supposed to be.
You know, he holds the record for like the most weight gained for a role.
Oh, I believe it.
Or something.
I believe it.
Was for like Full Metal Jacket.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen it, but I know he's big in that role. I know that. Yeah.
Honestly, you don't even need to see Full Metal Jacket. Just see like the first half, and that's all you need.
Yeah, but anyway, it was just the little thing. There was one other throwback to the first movie that they did in the second one that I think I was the only one that caught it. I mean, it was blatant on the screen, but I think at least in my theater, and when they open up the floorboard, when he goes back to the blind person's house, what's her name?
Al, Blind Al.
Yeah, when she goes back to Blind Al's apartment or house, whatever it is, and he lifts up the floorboard. This is right after Vanessa dies. And there is 2 pounds of cocaine labeled at. And did you see the black box in the middle of it? Do you remember that?
Vaguely. Remind me.
It was a black box, and they all these things had like masking tape with like handwritten what it is on it. The black one said cure for blindness. Because if you remember in the first one, he says to her right before he leaves, he goes, there's like 2 pounds of cocaine and the cure for blindness hidden next to the cure for blindness somewhere in the apartment. Good luck.
I remember that now. Yeah, I remember that.
And it's really fucking there. But it was funny to see that throwback to the first movie in there. And it was just good. And that's and because I know you want to get the Cable, so we're going to go there right next. But that's one of the things I do love about Ryan Reynolds being so heavily involved in these movies. Like,
and he wrote this one.
Right, yeah, he helped write it. I don't think he wrote the whole thing himself, but like he's a co-writer.
He was definitely a writer.
Yeah, I know that, but I don't think it's him. I think it was like a co-writing type of scenario. But anyway, that's not an important part. But he takes his character, and it's weird to say, but so seriously that he wants those throwbacks because he knows how important they are to the character to have them. It's just like when he's in the apartment after Vanessa dies and he's listening to the radio, it's the same radio from when he's sitting on the highway at the beginning of the first Deadpool. So it's little things like that. But let's get to Cable because that is important and something I kind of, I don't want to say struggled with only because the MCU is not Deadpool and vice versa. But we've talked about before, like I didn't like Chris Evans being Human Torch and Captain America. Like I had a problem with that. Now he's a great Cap. I just didn't like the fact that they did that, and I kind of have the same issue with Brolin being Thanos and Cable.
I like you. I was very much like, God, why? I mean, Brolin already killed his Thanos in like Guardians of the Galaxy at the end, that bonus scene of Age of Ultron. Like, I was always like, he's already doing an amazing job. He's going to kill it in Avengers Infinity War. Why cast him as Cable? Can't you go somewhere else? Brad Pitt?
I forget who was supposed to. Oh, by the way, he's in the movie.
I know, I saw that. I was like, when I caught that, I'm like, oh my God, I think it was Brad Pitt. My friends were like, yeah, we fucking saw him. I'm like, how are you not reacting the way, like, that's fucking Brad Pitt.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't catch it. Someone had to tell me after I saw the movie. I didn't catch that was him. But
well, that's because Brad Pitt was originally offered Cable first, and then he couldn't do it for whatever movie he was. And then they said, well, we could throw you in. We'll take one of the sexiest people on the planet and make you invisible.
There you go. There was somebody else that was supposed to be Cable before Josh Brolin, and I thought that was going to be a really good choice.
There was a couple.
Yeah.
There was a couple people. There was Pierce Brosnan was rumored.
Yeah, that's not the one I'm thinking of. There was another one. It was kind of a bigger guy.
There was Stephen Lang, the villain from Avatar, and he was more or less a popular choice.
Okay.
There was they had talked about Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been okay with Dolph, although he's the right size and build.
Yeah, he looks the role more than anybody.
Right.
They even offered it to Schwarzenegger.
The only problem with Schwarzenegger would have been it would have reminded people too much of a Terminator, and it would have been hard. At least for me, it would have been hard to separate it. I think.
Yeah, the cyborg thing, and I think they did that on purpose because they could make a lot of Terminator jokes.
Yeah, you could have done that. Yeah, that's true, which would fit with Deadpool. You know.
Yeah,
but to be fair,
also Mel Gibson was rumored.
Oh, I didn't hear that one. But to be fair, regardless of who they casted, being that they did get Brolin, who plays Thanos, they were able to make some nice jokes out of that too. Like you were saying with Schwarzenegger.
Absolutely. I also heard that Liefeld had said that his not Liefeld. Whoever did Cable, I guess it was Liefeld.
I can look it up.
I don't know if Cable was created by the same guy who did Deadpool. But whoever was part of that said that his personal choice would have been Russell Crowe, which I don't fucking see very well. I don't see.
I could see that if you gray his hair. Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, yeah, we would have been happy with anybody as long as it's Cable. Well, I mean, anybody that looks more or less like the role.
Liefeld had a hand in Cable. It's Chris Claremont, Louise Simonson, and Rob Liefeld.
So it was. Yeah,
so
it was Claremont. That's the one who said that quote. Now, I'll just say that Brolin, was a better Thanos, but he still did a really good job as.
No, I don't want to take away from his portrayal. He did a good job for being, a slightly smaller Cable. He was fine.
Which they joked about a lot. It's like,
yes.
He's only 5'11".
Yep. Yeah.
Which is really funny because he's fucking massive as Thanos. I was like, but they're just like.
I don't know if it was on purpose, but there is at one point, there's a scene of Deadpool standing side by side with Cable, and you can see that he's 2 inches taller than him.
Oh, yeah. No, he's significantly taller. I think Reynolds is supposed to be 6'3" or something.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm not looking that one up because I don't care.
I thought they did a good job.
My biggest issue was not his height. It was that he wasn't bulky enough. That was my thing. Because Cable's built like a brick shithouse, and Brolin jacked himself up. If he wasn't really cut the way it was, and that was digital, then great. But if he really got himself that cut, then he did what he needed to do. So I'm not.
That's all him.
That's what I thought. I thought that was him. So I'm not.
No, he was releasing videos on Twitter and Instagram of him at the gym every day.
Honestly,
and, just getting more and more massive.
But see, from a purely physical perspective, Affleck fits better than Brolin. When Affleck was jacked in Batman vs Superman, that would have been you put a cyborg guy in some gray hair, and that was Cable.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, Affleck would have been Affleck Batman style would have been a really good. Although you could imagine he would have got a lot of visceral reaction,
oh yeah, he would have got
Batman as Cable. Fuck no.
Yeah, no, they would have tore it up. By the way, hashtag Kevin Ben reboot. Telling you, yeah,
Ben and Kev back together. Let's bring them.
We're bringing these guys back together. I'm telling you. I don't care about movies. I'm not worried about that. We're talking friendship. I want Ben and Kev to talk. They don't have to podcast it. They don't have to do anything. I just want them to talk and be friends again. That's all I want. We're going to make this happen. You and I, buddy, we're making this happen.
We need them to have a fucking bro hug.
Yeah. Take a still picture. I don't care. But that's it. That's all I want. I just, yeah. I am pushing this until it happens. If it takes us 10 years, it'll take us 10 years. But I am not giving up until we get this.
Absolutely, man. What they need is someone in between. What they need...
You need Damon. Damon can be the in-between.
You need Damon, but you also need... do you know about the Jerry Lewis, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra telethon thing?
Yeah.
You know about that? You know about the Jerry, how Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin were partners in the beginning of the 40s, right?
When you say partners, you mean partners or business partners?
Comedy partners. They were a comedy team.
Yeah.
It was Martin and Lewis.
Martin and Lewis. Yeah.
Then they had their falling out, and Jerry Lewis went on to do his own thing. Dean Martin went on to do his own thing. And they never, like, mended their friendship. They never did shit. And then Jerry Lewis was doing his telethon for muscular dystrophy or whatever.
The thing he did every year. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Frank Sinatra came on to do a fucking, like, you know, to be an MC, to sort of perform. And he says, you know, I got a friend who loves what you do. And he's like, can I bring my friend out? And then Dean Martin comes out. This is like 76. So they're all old and like overweight.
Right. Yeah.
And it was the first time that they had like been together in like 30 years. And Jerry Lewis had no fucking clue. You see Jerry's like crying.
Awesome.
And like, and he when they all are like, the three of them are like sort of together, Frank's like, I think it's time. Don't you think it's time? Like, let's end
and the
this
crowd
bullshit.
probably like freaks out. Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. It was like history. And then like Jerry, the audience is still cheering. And then you hear Jerry and you see him mouth the words, but you can very faintly hear him say to Frank, you son of a bitch.
But in that, right. Yeah. In that.
Well, it was in the Jerry was like, hi, you son of a bitch. Hi.
Yeah.
Lady. Hi. And then they glide into the hi. So they became that minute of friendship. What we need is the Frank Sinatra to bridge that. We need the Matt Damon. We need Matt Damon. What we need is Kevin Smith to do a telethon and have Matt Damon come up and then bring.
There you go. Yeah.
No, imagine this. Imagine that. He said Matt Damon comes out to like Kevin doing like a Q&A. He's like, I got a friend who loves what you do. Let me bring my friend out here. And then Batman comes on stage. He's like, oh my God, it's Batman. Then he takes off the mask. It's fucking Batman.
Affleck, yeah. That'd be awesome.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, we're going to make this happen. We are making
we need to make
this happen. I'm telling you, people, I'm not giving up. If it's the last thing I do on this earth, which probably won't be because they'll probably both be dead before me, but that's not the point. Anyway, well, they're both older than me by like 10, 15 years, so it's likely. Anyway. So, but back to the movie. Brolin did a great job. It's not my first choice. That's not his fault. He's nothing to do with that. He did fine. And I
love the jokes about him.
Yeah, the jokes about him were good. The DC joke was good. Which we saw in the trailer.
Was good.
What's that?
Calling him Thanos was good.
Yep. I do have
my personal favorite joke was when they called him One-Eyed Willie.
Oh, I think I missed that, or I just forget about it. But yeah, that's
well because he's got one cybernetic eye, but he's also Goonies from with One-Eyed Willie.
Oh fuck, that's right. I forgot.
Oh, you didn't make that connection?
No, I didn't. I forgot.
Dude, Brolin's first movie was Goonies.
No, I know that. I just didn't put it together. That's funny. I do have a question about the kid.
Oh God.
Okay, like him, dislike him, that's not the point. At one point, they show like I guess it's a flash forward with Cable still in the future.
Yeah.
And when the kid comes as an adult and, spoilers, kills Cable's family. Is that Bishop? He kind of looks like Bishop.
I honestly don't know. I don't know shit about that character, but I remember watching it thinking, this plot is fucking Looper.
Oh shit! Sorry, AT&T just bought Time Warner.
Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the movie Looper?
Yes, I saw it once, so I don't remember a lot, but I do remember it.
But it's the basic premise. Like, guy has to go back in time to kill. I mean, it's the Terminator, but like villain form.
Right.
Like this guy becomes a bad guy in the future. We have to stop him when he's a kid. We have to kill a child. And at the same time, we're like, I am surprised that I thought it was so on the nose for the plot of Looper that I was surprised they never made a Looper reference or a Looper meta joke. But I gotta say, man, the kid was running real thin for me.
Well, according to this, his name is Fire Fist, which is what he did go by. He called himself that in the movie, so I remember that. So that's, but the adult version looked very Bishop. I'm just saying when they did the flash forward.
the adult version actually looked a lot like the kid. Like it looked like it could have been his older brother or his dad or something.
Maybe.
But the kid itself, like I didn't see Hunt for the Wilder People, which is where he sort of got a little bit of stardom recently.
Okay.
Hunt for the Wilder People was a New Zealand film directed by Taika Waititi, the guy who did Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
So he's been getting, and he was apparently really phenomenal in that. I haven't seen it. Like that movie's supposed to be amazing. He's supposed to be really good in it. But the kid was just, I mean, running my patience real thin. But like that's okay. And I saw him on like Conan, and it was sort of a train wreck of a fucking interview. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be too critical because he's a kid. You know, he's a kid. He's all of a sudden becoming a star. But I was like, I really kind of want Cable to succeed and shoot this fucking kid.
Yeah, no, I agree. I looked it up. The guy who played him in the future is a guy named Sala Baker. It's not really. He's not related to the kid. I know why you thought that though. I see it.
But he looks enough like him, like he could be a grown-up version of him.
He looks like he's primarily a stunt guy.
Yeah, that's probably why they do it.
Or like a character actor. Like he's got a bunch of these little bit parts where he's like henchman number 2 and that kind of thing.
Right.
Like which for the 30 seconds he's on camera, that's fine. You know.
Yeah. Did I tell you who? Because it wasn't just Ryan Reynolds in X-Men Origins as Deadpool. Do you know who the other actor was?
No, I thought it was only Ryan. When was there another actor?
When they're doing the close-ups of his face, it's Ryan Reynolds. But when you see the long shots of him like jumping and kicking and flipping and shit,
oh well, it's probably
is Scott. That's Scott Adkins. Do you know who that is?
No.
Scott Adkins is a British martial artist. He was in like Ip Man, but he was also like the main. If it wasn't Batfleck, it was going to be Scott Adkins. Like he was really heavily considered. So it's sort of it's just a little throwback.
No, it's cool. So there's like 2 other things I want to get to, and I think we can probably start wrapping this thing up because we've been at this for a while. Unless you got something you want to say, man. I ain't trying to stop you. So.
Well, I want to talk about the bonus scenes.
Oh, no, that's one of the 2 things I'm talking about, so we'll get there.
All right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so, one of the things I thought was genius, and again, this is huge spoilers. We've been spoiling through the whole thing, so at this point, fuck you. But I at the same time, most of the marketing for this movie leading up to it, aside from the things we talked about, like the movie slipcovers and Deadpool just showing up in random places, things like that, were centered around the X-Force portion of the movie, right? So it made it, and tell me if you agree, to me it made it sound like X-Force was going to be a major part of the movie. It was still going to be Deadpool, but there was going to be a lot of X-Force with it, right? And they kill X-Force off in the first 30 seconds that they're on screen. Like, the whole X-Force segment lasts like 5 minutes. Yes, now ultimately you end up with like a altered version of X-Force with with Negasonic and everyone there. But, they made it sound like that part was going to be a bigger role in the movie, the way they marketed it. And I'm pretty sure they did that on purpose for the joke, because if you go in there going, okay, you're going to get this X-Force movie and this, that, and the third, and boom, everybody dies as soon as they jump out of the plane.
Well, the joke, here's what I know.
And I liked it, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't like it, but it was just really interesting to me.
Well, here's what I know, is I know that they are planning an X-Force movie with Deadpool.
Sure. Okay, but I'm sure it's with the second incarnation, not that group that...
But if you remember, he goes back in time in the bonus scene and sort of rights all those wrongs. So a lot of those X-Force members are probably still alive.
That's true. Because I love seeing Terry Crews. I didn't see him in the trailer if he was, but
you saw him in the background when they're jumping, when they're standing at the platform.
You didn't see Terry Crews there right in your face, is what I'm saying. So when he popped up on screen, I was like, oh shit, Terry Crews. Because I like Terry Crews. I think he's pretty good. I like him. Did you recognize the tall actor who was like spitting venom or whatever the fuck, spitting acid thing? No, but I just looked at when I was looking up the kid. I saw it. It's Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, the guy who played Pennywise in the most recent It movie.
Having not seen it, I will take your word for that. But
he's good in it.
Oh, I'm sure. I've heard that. I heard
he would be my choice for a young Joker. If they're going to,
you were
they're
saying
doing
that,
two Joker movies, he would be perfect.
You said that in I forget which episode we talked about that on, but you brought that up before, and I don't disagree with you. Yeah, I mean, no, it'd be good. And I actually, not to get into an It thing, but I actually heard that, because I know a lot of people are up in arms about them making the It movie before it happened because of the miniseries with Tim Curry. And then the movie came out and everyone went, oh, okay. Basically shut the fuck up because it was that good.
Well, they saw the trailer, and that shut everybody up.
But then the movie came out and it really shut everybody up. Well,
I'm still a bigger fan of Tim Curry's portrayal.
Okay.
But it's like Heath Ledger's Joker and Jack Nicholson's Joker.
I'll take Heath, but I get your point. Yeah.
But both different sides of a fucked up point.
Right. So
I also, after I made this connection where I'm like, I was rewatching the remake of it, and while he's scarier in some ways,
Skarsgård,
his voice came off very Scooby-Doo-ish.
Okay.
Because Tim Curry's Pennywise is, "Hi there, Georgie. Don't you want a balloon?" Like real kind of raspy and gravelly and with a New England accent. Whereas Skarsgård's voice is, "Hi there, Georgie. Don't you want a balloon?"
Okay. Gotcha. Which, and we can get into a whole other thing another day, but one of my favorite Tim Curry movies is Clue. I love that fucking movie.
God, I need to rewatch Clue.
I love that movie. But anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Hold
on. I'm watching Dino stalk a bird.
Get him, Dino.
Hold on. You gotta leave this. Did you see this?
I'm looking. Oh, is that him down is that him on the driveway?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then now look up there. You see this bird just on the shed?
Oh, yeah.
He is just eyeballing this fucking thing. He's like, "I'm going to get you. I don't know how I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you."
Sounds like Feats is when we have her out on the porch. She does that.
Fucking Dino, stop fucking with the bird. Get the goddamn rat in my room, motherfucker.
Yeah, right? So what did you think of the X-Force thing and it being the way they did it? Like, what did you think?
I will say that I thought Domino was...
Oh, yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Yep.
Like, yep. I didn't care that the fact that they made her like a black chick. Like, I was.
Is she not in the book? I'm not familiar with the character that well.
No, she's like pale, like Joker white skin.
Oh, really?
And she has a black domino. Yeah, she has a black domino. She kind of looks like if you took Harley Quinn, took all the red and blue and multicolored shit, and just put the black domino. Thing over eye.
They basically just inverted it then, because if I remember, she had like a white thing around her eye, or like at least a pale area.
It was the same symbol. It was a sort of diamond shaped symbol over her eye. I thought honestly, I was like, all these fucking fans need to just calm down.
That kind of shit. Like, look, I know I was just talking about Wilson Fisk and Daredevil, and I didn't like they did the Michael Clark Duncan with it. And it's not because he's black. It's not because they used a black eye, because I don't have a problem with black people, but it's the fact that the character, like, I'm big on trying to stay true to the character generally. Now, every once in a while, you'll throw a curveball like Domino or Nick Fury. Because now Nick Fury in the comic books is drawn like Sam Jackson. They don't.
Well, that happened before that.
Right.
That's why the Sam Jackson as Nick Fury works now, because for fucking 30, 40 years, he was always white.
It was Hasselhoff.
It was Hasselhoff, exactly. Yeah. So, but then they did Ultimate Marvel. They did Ultimate Avengers. And then they said, well, let's reboot it. And they said, well, who's someone who we know if he bossed the Avengers around, they would actually listen. Would it be Hasselhoff? No, he's fucking Samuel motherfucking Jackson. So they did it with permission. They went to Sam Jackson, like, we want to make you the Nick Fury for all these comic books now. You're going to be now, we know it's Nick Fury. And he's like, motherfucker, good. And then they threw him in at the end of Iron Man 1. And that was because if they'd gone white, they would have been like, oh, okay, who's that white guy? But because it was Sam Jackson, all his popularity, that Sam Jackson was the basis for Nick Fury, everyone lost. That was the big, like, okay, they're taking the shit seriously.
Yeah.
You watch the entire movie of Iron Man, they're like, all right, they did a great job, they took it seriously, but the fact they're like, okay, we're taking the actor as the basis for this and making him that character, that then they're like, okay, they know what they're doing.
One of the best back and forth dialogues in the entire comic book movie world, so MCU, DCU, Deadpool, all these spin-offs, is Tony and Nick Fury in the donut shop in Iron Man 2. That's one of the best back and forth dialogues I've ever seen.
That's so good because it's just two people that like are attributed to snappy dialogue and wit.
Right. So, and then tying it back to Deadpool. So if she was the right choice for Domino, then she was the right choice for Domino. And I, not knowing the character very well, I loved it. I thought she was awesome. So.
And I love how like he makes a big whole argument like how being lucky is not a superpower. Yeah. And then you watch it like lucky is very much a superpower.
And he actually says something about it towards the end, if I remember. He's like, well, I guess it kind of is a superpower or something to that effect.
I thought it was absolutely, we talked about this, I thought it was hysterical. Brad Pitt was the invisible guy.
Yep.
Bill Skarsgård, what's his name? Doug or Stan or whatever the fuck? Steve,
yeah.
What's his name?
I think it might be Stan. I think you were right. It doesn't matter. It's a mustache dude.
The fucking Ned Flanders of the group. The guy who's like, I've got type 2 diabetes. Like, that was awesome. Just like, hey, I saw, he reminded me of like, we talked about Yes Man.
Yeah.
He just reminded me of a Yes Man. He's like, I saw a pamphlet.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. I kind of thought that when I was watching it, so I agree with you. Real quick, just a thought I had because of everything going on in real life, bringing T.J. Miller back, yay, nay?
I think they had to bring him back just for continuity, but I like how they sort of made him an unsympathetic character, how he betrays them, because he's not coming back for free if they're making a thing.
All right,
because
fair enough.
T.J. Miller is more or less fucked his own career.
Yeah, and that's not a conversation I want to get into tonight because there are people who have fucked their own careers and deserve what they're getting, and there's others that I think had their careers fucked for them, and I'm thinking he's on that line between the two. But I want to save that conversation for another night because I feel like I deserve the right to explain myself, and I don't want to do that tonight because it's going to be a much longer conversation than we want to have.
I saw it looked like they were conscientiously aware of that situation, and they're like, we need to segue him out.
Yeah. The death scene, before I get to my overall thoughts, what did you think? Because I thought it was hysterical that he just wouldn't go.
It
like
was
every
funny.
time you thought he died, it's like, oh, wait a minute.
I kind of felt like it was funny the first time, and then once they dragged it out again and again, it reminded me of, like, I love the show Family Guy, but sometimes Family Guy, when you could tell they've run out of ideas, they'll stretch a joke right just to its thinnest. Like, there's that reoccurring thing where, like, a character will fall, hit their knee, and then go, ah!
Yeah.
Ah! And they do it for, like, 30 to 40 seconds. And that is a long time to see that repetitive thing. So I felt like it was funny when it first happened. And then it was like, oh, come on. Like, you couldn't figure out another 30 seconds of dialogue right here.
Well, and that might have been the point. And that's the thing with Deadpool. It's like, I don't know, because I get your point with Family Guy, but they do it as filler. Like, Deadpool might have been doing it strictly to point at stuff like that. Do you know what I'm getting at? Like, that might be why they did it.
They were making a joke about that, but, like, and then they fixed it. And then you know, Cable did his whole time travel thing and blah, 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 blah.
Right, well, and we'll talk about that in a second. Do you want to do my overall thoughts, or do you want to do the bonus scene first?
Let me do the bonus scene, because...
it was... Well, all right, so I have to ask you. All right, because there were two bonus scenes, if I recall. One, like, right... Because there's, like, the animated credits, and there was a scene, and then there was another scene, if I recall. There were two.
Yep.
So you had said on a...
I viewed it as a one long scene, really.
Fair enough. That's. I'm not gonna argue with you about that. That's fine. But on a previous episode, you said you predicted the bonus scene.
Yeah, Steph and I were at Michael's restaurant that he works at. Because the theater is around the corner. So we were just chilling there, having a drink, and she and I were just sort of talking about it, whispering, saying, and I said, do you think they're going to do a meta, like another bonus scene that's going to be like off the wall? She's like, I don't know what they could do. And I said, I think because it's a sequel and they have so much popularity now, they can go as crazy as possible. They can go as meta and as far out there as possible. And I said, this is what I predict. I predict he's going to be Steph has never seen the X-Men Origins movie.
Okay.
Like until I told her, she was like, wait, there was another Deadpool? And she's like, who played him? I'm like, Ryan Reynolds. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you've got to see this dumpster fire film. That we sort of just praised earlier an hour ago.
Well, I don't know if we praised it. That's not a word I would use. You might have praised it. I didn't.
We praised parts of it.
Well, yeah, because there were some good moments. But anyway, go ahead.
Right. So I said, what if he kills the earlier Deadpool? Like so I was like, because I know Cable can travel through time. So what if he somehow could travel through time and then goes to that alternate dimension or whatever, and then kills that Deadpool? It's like, ooh, that'd be good. And I'm like, but what if he also can go to a different dimension and then he shoots Green Lantern in the face? So I almost got it.
You almost got it. Yeah.
It was like 99% there. So
it's enough that I'll give you a straight out call. Honestly, like, yeah,
that's pretty.
It's
the
pretty,
fact that I predicted it like an hour, like 25 minutes before we even saw the movie, and when that happened, she grabbed me. She's like, "Oh my god, how did you do that?" And I was like, I looked at her and I said, "I traveled through time, and I saw this movie already."
I actually had to explain it to the dad because she hadn't seen it.
Right. So
I had to explain that, and then actually my friend that I told you about earlier in the episode, we were talking about the music in the movie. I had to explain it to him too because he had never seen Origins or Green Lantern actually. So I had to explain both of those to him.
So this is the spoiler for those who've seen it. You know what we're talking about. The spoiler is he does manage to like get Cable's like time traveling fucking whatever thing, and then goes back to the original Deadpool and X-Men Origins, and they spliced. We got
they did a really good job.
But they didn't. They got Hugh Jackman back, but they didn't. It wasn't like Hugh Jackman came in and filled the scene. They just took that scene of the movie where the door opens and the piece of shit Deadpool walks out, and you see Hugh Jackman go, "Wade, is that you?" And then he's staying there, and then Deadpool off screen like holds out his arm with a gun and shoots the other Deadpool in the head, and then you see Hugh Jackman just like kind of like looking like, what the fuck? And then it jumps forward to Ryan Reynolds getting the script for Green Lantern. Be like, ooh, Green Lantern.
And he's really excited. He's like super excited, yeah.
This is gonna be awesome. Green Lantern. I love Green Lantern. And then shoots him in the fucking head. And then like Ryan Reynolds star, Green Lantern, murdered, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. But then that made me think, if they're going super meta and breaking the fourth wall, and they've made jokes about how Ryan Reynolds is playing Deadpool in the Deadpool movies, and then he shoots Deadpool in the fucking face, shouldn't theoretically Deadpool fucking disappear a la fucking Avengers Infinity War?
I think you're putting too much thought into it.
And I'm really trying hard not to, because you have to look at Deadpool being like, oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Deadpool.
Yeah. No. Which, by the way...
But...
Oh, go ahead.
I was so fucking good.
It was great.
I was marveled that no pun intended, I marveled the fact that I caught that shit.
No, that's impressive. My man, yeah, it's impressive. But I laughed. Oh my God, I was laughing so hard at that. I was like, yes! Which, by the way, quick throwback to the beginning of the movie where there's the music box of Logan on the pole rotating, which I thought was awesome.
I now want that.
Yeah, I want one too. I totally do, yeah. But no, it was look overall. Okay, so overall, we got to get into the overall and finish this thing up. I really have a problem with. Look, I'm sitting here. I'm talking about how good it was, and there was a lot of good moments. But like, what I didn't like about it was like, and you'll get this more than the average person, I think, with no disrespect to any of our listeners, but like, Deadpool 1 felt like Clerks. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it had that feel to it. It had a clerk, not the standing there just dialogue back and forth, but that stripped down, independent,
low budget, simple
right.
story.
And that's what, to me, made Deadpool 1 so good, was how stripped down it was, and was still so quality in such a stripped down format. And then they go and do this one, and it's not Infinity War budget, but it's certainly a higher budget than the first Deadpool.
So much so.
And while it's still good, like Dev and I both came out of it going, okay, it's good, but it's not as good as the first one. It's just not. I don't think I'm ever going to view it that way, because the first one is so good. It's like Guardians. Now, I know I said to you...
That's how I would label it.
What?
I would label it the same way to Guardians and Guardians 2. Because
the Guardians 1 is a big budget movie. There was money dumped into that movie.
But I'm looking at the same feel. Because Deadpool, for all of us, which was, holy shit, we were not expecting that. We were not expecting a character to be so off-the-walls funny, to talk to the audience, to be graphically gory, as well as hysterically funny, and profane. Because we're getting years of Disney Marvel. So all of a sudden we were like getting something that was the antithesis of that.
Right.
And that was how we felt about Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, because we're like, whoa, who the fuck are these guys? These guys are really funny. It's not Iron Man. It's not Hulk. It is some unknown characters that are making some of one of the best Marvel movies ever. And then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 comes out. And because now we expect it. We expect them to be a lot of snarkiness. We expect them to be really funny. We expect a lot of 70s and 80s music. And for me, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 didn't deliver as much as the first one, because it seemed like now all the jokes are kind of forced.
Especially Drax. We talked about that before, but Drax.
Especially with Drax. Like, I laughed the first time he was like, my nipples are chafed, or whatever the fuck he says.
Yeah, that one was funny, but there were other jokes that were like, ugh.
I mean, it's like seeing, eventually we don't need to see Groot dance again. It's cute for the first couple scenes, and then it's like, okay, I don't need to see another one.
Right, yeah.
So that's how I felt with Deadpool 2, because Deadpool 1 was such a, what the fuck is this? And now we're like, okay, well, yeah, it's funny. It's funny. It's violent. It's profane. It's exactly what you expect. So the feeling of, oh my God, is not there.
Right. Okay, I can see that. Look, I mean, much like Guardians 2, it's a movie I'm going to A, buy, and B, I will watch again. Like, you know what I mean? Like I bought...
Of course.
But by comparison, I bought Batman vs. Superman, and I think I've watched it once since I bought it. Because it's...
I've seen it 2 or 3 times, yeah. I've seen it more times showing it to other people than watching it by myself.
Right. Or even Suicide Squad. We talked about that on the Lowering the Bar episode. Like... I still have seen that maybe only 2 or 3 times. Well, once you get past the second half, it's a hard watch. It really is. And you know, whereas Deadpool's not that. I could put Deadpool on, and I'm sure I will sit through the whole thing and laugh and have a good time. You know, so, and, I mean, hi, Yukio. You mean, like...
Oh, that was cute. It was getting kind of repetitive, but I love the fact they had.
But I like the repetitive of that joke, honestly. That's one of the repetitive jokes that I really kind of enjoyed. Like the fact that
But I love the point that they made with that they had a openly gay character. That's never been established in any Marvel film or any DC film.
I did like that too. Yeah, I thought that was good. The only issue I had was not that she was gay at all. Didn't care about that. That was fine. But we didn't get enough Negasonic. I liked her in the first one, and you didn't get a lot of her in the first one, but they established her enough that I thought you could get more in this one, and you really didn't get a lot of her.
We got a decent amount of Colossus, which I appreciated.
What's that?
We got a decent amount of Colossus, which I appreciated.
No, I agree, but I think we should have got more Negasonic, too. And I'm not talking about her powers or her abilities. It's just her. She was the perfect counterpart to Deadpool. Do you know what I mean? Because she's as witty, as sarcastic. You know, like from the first one when he's like, "Oh, I'm a young teenage girl. I was a sarcastic remark followed by long sullen silences. So what's it gonna be? Long sullen silence or sarcastic remark?" And he stares at her, and she goes, "You got me in a box here." And he's like, "Aha!" You know, like that interaction with those two characters is perfect, and we didn't get a lot of that in this one.
Well, because they filled that with Cable. She essentially.
There just wasn't enough of that banter between the two of them because they really, like I said, fed off each other so well in that first one.
I think Cable filled that void because essentially Cable's kind of like a grown-up Negasonic. Like he was the filling in for the straight man that Negasonic and even Colossus were. You know, because if you have everyone being the straight man to Deadpool, it's just gonna be like, okay, the funniest character is Deadpool.
Yeah, I know, I get it, but I liked her better. I get your point. I don't disagree with you, but I like her better. I just wanted more Negasonic. I thought she was awesome. I did a good character. So
you know who we do need to talk about really quickly is fucking Juggernaut.
Yeah, I just thought that too. You beat me to it. Yeah.
Do you know who voiced Juggernaut?
No.
Ryan Reynolds.
Now that's fucking funny.
Yeah, he pulled a fucking Doctor Strange because in Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch plays Dormammu and Doctor Strange.
Oh, I didn't know that. We didn't talk about that on the MCU one. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he supplies the voice and does the motion capture for that. So,
which, by the way,
Ryan Reynolds.
2 seconds, because I've been thinking about not only our conversation about Infinity War, but the actual movie itself. Yeah. And I'm not sure if it's in the plan, but I need a Doctor Strange too. I need a second Doctor Strange because now that he's fully established as Sorcerer Supreme, I want another Doctor Strange.
Well, they were talking. It'll happen. I mean, the director of the first one, Stephen Summers, I want to say, or I don't know who does it. He's already said I got plans for Doctor Strange too.
All right, good, because he was so good in Infinity War, like,
and not to mention they have to finish that whole thing of Baron Mordo, being the villain and killing all the sorcerers and shit like that.
But anyway, go ahead back to what you were saying about Juggernaut.
I mean, we all kind of enjoyed X-Men Last Stand. Like, I would say I enjoyed X-Men Origins more than X-Men Last Stand.
Oh, I would agree with that.
Yeah. And I still enjoyed X-Men Last Stand because, you know, I was fucking whatever the fuck I was, 15, 14, whatever the fuck I was when it...
Yeah.
So, and to see Vinnie Jones as Juggernaut in that, I was like, wow, this is almost the Juggernaut we want. I mean, it did supply us a really interesting line. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Yeah.
And then you're like, I was surprised they didn't make a joke to that.
Yeah. I actually forgot he was in it until you brought it up, to be fair, though. So I'm just saying, I was really surprised that of all the, I mean, maybe Fox was like, hey, you know, it's okay if you make fun of our previous Deadpool attempt, but don't trash every fucking X-Men movie, you know? Come on. Yeah. That's probably what it came down to. So,
because I'm sure there was a part where there was like, don't you know who I am? And then, or he's even having a British accent, like, don't you know who I am? And then Deadpool would be like, you're the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah, that would have been good. So overall, I mean, like I said, I like the first one better. As we're sitting here talking about it, I'm starting to like it more than I did when I left the theater. To be fair, I don't.
You just need a second viewing. I mean, that's all you need.
Yeah, it's really what it boils down to. But overall, I liked it. It's good. If they make a third one, they're great. If they don't, okay. Like, I'm not gonna be terribly upset about it.
I think they'll probably do an X-Force Deadpool 2 crossover type of thing.
Yeah, like a Deadpool 3/X-Force or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Which is fine, because you still get more Deadpool, you know.
I'll tell you something. I legit thought that they should have just, for a long time, like literally up to like a month before like it came out, or not a month, but like 2 months, the title was still Untitled Deadpool Sequel.
Yep. Yeah.
And I legit thought maybe that's the title.
It wouldn't surprise me. It would not have surprised me.
That would have been a great fucking little like inside joke, being like, oh, well, we didn't know what to call it, so we'll just call it Untitled Deadpool Sequel.
Yeah. Yeah. We got new software for doing the conversation. I think it's going pretty well.
Yeah. We're using, what are we using?
Zoom.
Yeah, we're using Zoom. Zoom is pretty. It works great for us.
Well, I was just wondering if you could see me with this black dot in front of my face.
That's the microphone.
No, never mind.
Yeah, I don't see a black dot. I see your face. That is the black dot.
You're not getting my joke.
No, I'm not getting your joke. What's your
joke?
All
right. No. I won't do that on air. I'll tell you off the recording.
Okay.
So let's thank.
Oh, I know you're fucking referencing. I just get back to me.
So, just wondering.
All right, I got it.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Anyway, if you guys could see the face I just got from Rico, that was pretty priceless. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. We meant for this to be a short episode. It turned out not to be, so it'll be our standard length probably. But that's Deadpool and a little bit of the X-World, meaning X-Men. Thanks everybody for listening.
Triple X-World.
Snick.
Write that down.
Oh God. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done.
Thank you, sir.
That's such a good movie. I love that movie. I didn't see the sequel.
I think I'm gonna rewatch. I think I want to rewatch Van Wilder. Actually, I'm waiting to show it to Steph, so I don't want to rewatch it and then have to rewatch it.
Let's. We'll maybe make this a closing thought because it does tie back to Deadpool. I'm afraid now that I can't watch him in anything and not see Deadpool.
Oh my god!
I think I'm going to struggle with that.
Clips of. We talked about this. Like, essentially, in Blade Trinity, he's Deadpool with a fucking goatee.
Right, and in Van Wilder, he's basically Deadpool in college.
That's right. He's just Deadpool in college. God, that's
what Van Wilder is.
Did you ever see Waiting?
Yes, one time. Yeah.
So it's just Deadpool at a restaurant, just Deadpool working his way at a restaurant.
There's a movie, and I forget what it's called, and if you really want me to get the title, I'll look it up, but he's a divorced dad, and he's talking to his 13-year-old daughter about...
Definitely Maybe.
Right, and he's Deadpool as a father.
Well, he's not Deadpool as a father. He's a lot nicer. And
well, okay. Yeah.
But no, Steph and I just rewatched it, and we actually love that movie.
No, it's a good movie. It is a good movie. I remember I got a real funny story about that movie. I'm watching that with my old podcast partner, Julie. We were watching that, and her daughter was in the room, and we watched it because we were looking at the rating. We're like, okay, it's PG-13, so it may not be that bad. And
right.
And at one point, the daughter calls one of the exes, and I don't remember which one. It doesn't matter. A psychotic bitch. Right? But it's a throwaway line. Like, it's not something they focus on. She says it and they move on to another thing, right? That's the 2 words the 3-year-old daughter picked up on. And she went around going, psychotic bitch, for like an hour. We're like, stop! Because her husband was at work. So we didn't want him coming home and the daughter going up and going, psychotic bitch. Little 3-year-old daughter.
He's going to immediately look at you and be like, what'd you say?
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead. You were going to say something.
I love that. I love that part because she's like, he's thinking like, she was, I don't even know if it was psychotic was in it, but bitch was definitely, you may be right, but I don't remember psychotic being part of it. But
we know what happened the last time I tried to quote a movie and you questioned it. So we're not going to go there again, especially with Ryan Reynolds.
Okay. Yeah. It's a cool thing that we're all big fans of Reynolds. Like, Steph is a big fan of. I think if Steph ever were to cheat on me, it'd probably be with Ryan Reynolds.
And you'd probably be okay with it.
I'd probably be like, well, can I have a little bit of Ryan Reynolds? Like, can't we gangbang Deadpool?
That's all you. No, that's y'all.
Oh, we're gonna bring you into this Deadpool. We're gonna pull you into this
Deadpool. Anyway, ew.
You such a baby.
Oh no, just comedic event. All right, we've gone well beyond the bounds of
As
good
usual,
taste at
we
this point.
do not know how to end an episode, so we'll just
Yeah.
end the episode.
Go away!
Bye!
Hey everybody, CJ here with a few thank yous and to let you know how you can get in touch with and follow the show and us. You can listen to the show on the network Podcast A Go-Go at www.podcastagogo.com or Listen Notes at www.listennotes.com. Go there, type in PodAskew, all one word, and you can stream us right there. Go to iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play Music to listen to, subscribe, rate, and comment on the show. If you want to agree with or yell at the guys directly, follow them and the show on Twitter. The show is at PodAskew, Rico is at Rants Rico, and CJ at M_Blade. Also follow the network at Podcast A Go-Go. Thank you to Dubbed in English for our opening theme music, 96 Reasons. They're no longer online, but you can contact me directly for a copy of the full song or the whole Plan 9 EP. Thank you to Samuel Lemons for our closing music, Theme Askew, and you can find his music on SoundCloud at www.soundcloud.com/Samuel-Lemons. Clip of Kevin Smith, courtesy of Screen Junkies Movie Fights, Season 3, Episode 19. You can find the episode at www.youtube.com/screenjunkies. Finally, our biggest thank you is to you, everyone, for listening. Rico and I really appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you another episode soon. Hey, Rico, a friend of mine's got some advice for you.
Salsa water and lemon for blood. Or wear red, dumbass. Damn it!
PodAskew.